everybody, welcome to our live craft along. I'm going to just give everyone else a few more minutes to log on here. So happy Saturday, everybody. Are you excited for our craft today? I can't wait to make this project with you. We're going to go over all the details, so don't worry if you're just tuning in or just randomly, found me or whatever. So if you don't know who I am, because I always like to make sure I don't make any assumptions, I'm Abby. I'm the creator and owner of Abbi Kirsten Collections. I teach others how to unlock their creative potential and craft with joy and confidence, no matter your skill level. So today we are going to be making a layered Hello Fall paper craft wreath. This file here, I'll show you where to get it in just a minute. It's also linked in the video description, so you can download that. I know a lot of you already came prepared and probably have already downloaded it. So awesome. Let me just look in the comments and welcome some of you real quick. Okay, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, I should say. It's morning for some of you, probably, and afternoon for me already. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Melissa. Cecilia. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so we're 12:30 on the nose. All right, so while I'm giving everyone else just a couple of minutes just to hop on and to get settled, I want to let you know that at the end of this live today, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for a Cricut Joy Extra machine. So make sure you stick with me here because I can't. So what, baby?
Oh, see your nose.
That's because your computer screen isn't all the way up. Scroll up.
Well, still.
I'm watching myself on this screen. I have two screens. I'm watching myself on this screen. My husband, he's the moderator. We're a family-owned business, so he works with me full-time now, and he's moderating right now. And his screen, he scrolled down. He's like, "Your head's cut off." I'm like, "No, your screen's cut off." I'm like, "No, I can see my head is still on." All right, welcome everybody. We have a few more people logging on. Welcome Cheryl, Kathy, Marty. Welcome everybody. Okay, so like I said a minute ago, before my husband went silly on us, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for the Cricut Joy Extra at the end of this live today. So I'm super excited for that. I'm curious to know, for those of you who are tuning in, how many of you have your ticket for my upcoming event, the Gift Fest Experience? Just give me a yes if that's you. I'm curious to know. If you don't know what the Gift Fest Experience is, tongue-tied. The Gift Fest Experience is a 5-day online crafting event where we teach 50 plus inspiring projects for all skill levels, Cricut gift making, bow making, and gift wrapping. That's what I meant to say. My head's getting ahead of my words there. And all skill levels, mostly around Cricut craft projects, but we do have several projects in store that are not even Cricut related. So I'm super excited for that event. It starts September 23rd. And if you do not have your free ticket yet, make sure you go and grab it at abbykirstenscraftfest.com. You can access all 50 plus inspiring projects for free. We have so many amazing speakers, many of them who have worked with us before at our past events. We have lots of new ones as well. We have Leo from 3D SVG Dreaming Tree. We have Jennifer Maker, Amy Romeo. We have so many amazing speakers. We literally have over 52. I tried to cram them all in on this image. My husband's going to put them on the screen, but I just couldn't fit them all. So make sure you grab your ticket to check out all of their projects. All right, so we've got several more people who have logged on. Yay, lots of you have your ticket. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to share all the projects with you. I'm actually teaching 3 workshops this time at this event, which is the most I've ever done. So I'm just super excited that I have 3 workshops instead of just 1 to share with you guys. All right, so now that I've given everybody a beat to get on here, let's talk about today's project. We are going to be making, like I said, a layered Hello Fall 3D paper wreath. This is a great project for beginners. It's great if you love just paper crafts in general. And if you're somebody who's like maybe newer to paper crafting, or you're struggling with intricate cut designs and things like that, I'm going to be going over some of my best tips and tricks on how to make sure that you're getting the best cut possible for your paper crafts and all the things that can cause ripping and tearing when it comes to that. Like, raise your hand if you've ever had lots of paper crafts rip on you, the intricate stuff especially. Sometimes it's not even intricate. Sometimes it's just like your Cricut's having a really bad day or maybe something else, or maybe your blade stalled. We're going to go over all of that. I get that question so often in my community because I have so many paper craft projects. All right, so let me pause here. Thank you, Colleen. Yes, I do. I had help. I designed this and then I had help testing it, but I love that it's just like so simple. And with your paper craft projects, like they are made of paper, but you can store them in an airtight container when it's not fall and then bring them out the next year. So it's not like a one and done, right? Like you can reuse them, you can bring them out year after year. So it's so much fun. Alrighty, so yes, so frustrating with paper tears. So I'm going to share my screen here in just a minute. I just want to show you where to download this file if you haven't yet. I do want to note that this file is what we call a flash freebie. So this is going to be free through tomorrow at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so if you haven't downloaded it yet, I'm going to show you where to download it and make sure you go grab it. After that, this does go back into the vault just for our premium members. And if you are a premium member, because I know we have a lot in our community, this one here, Happy Halloween file, this is a Happy Halloween paper wreath that's very similar to this one. And this is for our premium members ready to download right now. So, and if you're not a premium member and you want to become one, we have over 1,000 projects and files in there now already, and you can join for just $9. So check it out if you want it, but make sure you at least download this while it's free until tomorrow, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys and we'll show you where to download that, bring it into Design Space and get it set up. There's not a lot of prep, thankfully. Give me just a minute here. Okay, I'm going to present and share screen. Okay, there we go. And let's come over. It's gonna look weird for a minute. Let's come over here. So this is my craft vault. It's where all of the files live for downloads and all of our projects. So if you haven't yet created a free account, you can do so very quickly. All you have to do is just come here, and if you see anything that's a freebie that you want to download, I'm logged in right now, but if you're not logged in, it'll say access freebies, and you just click that button and you'll be able to create an account and access your freebies. But the project that we are making today is, hang on, the wrong spot, is this Hello Fall Wreath. So this is design number 1026 in here. So if you click in here, and again, this link is in the description of the YouTube video that you're watching. So if you see the video description, you'll be able to just click right to it. But you can also go to members.abbykirstencollections.com and then just type in that design number and it'll bring it up for you. So the SVG cut file is right here. You would just go ahead and click on that to download. And I'm going to put it just randomly here on my desktop or wherever you want to save it. It might go to your downloads folder if that's your default. And for those of you who are wondering, I have this nice little preview on my screen here of what the SVG looks like because I have the Inkscape graphic design software installed. That's what I use to design my own SVG files. But if you do not have something like that on your computer, it's just going to look like a Chrome or Firefox or an Edge icon. It'll look like an internet browser icon, basically. That's your SVG. You didn't do anything wrong. That's your SVG. All right, so let's come over to Cricut Design Space now that we've downloaded the file. I already have my copy in here, but I'm just going to hide it so I can walk you through from the beginning. So I'm on the Design Space canvas here, okay? And you're going to locate the Upload button in the Design panel on the left-hand side. When you click on that, you're going to click on Upload Image, and then we can drag and drop our file here that we've already downloaded, or we can click Browse and then open our file finder and locate the file. I'm going to drag and drop mine here that I just downloaded. And we'll click Continue at the bottom. You can give it an alternate name here if you want, or just leave it at its default. That's what I always do. And we'll click Upload. And there we go. Now it's here in our canvas. So before I go any further, I'm going to take a pause to see if we have any questions I need to address. Any questions you're seeing that I need to address? All good? Okay, if you guys have questions, don't be shy. Let me know. I'm here to help. Like, even if it seems like an obvious, silly question, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. I know that we get, like, again, all skill levels. So if you're a beginner or you're like, oh, I know this part, Abby, I'm waiting for the part where you actually get to assembly, we set it up for all skill levels, okay? All right, so here is the design. First, let's talk a little bit about, like, what you need to do in Design Space for intricate projects to set your files up for success so that you don't experience a bunch of tearing. Because one of the things that people don't sometimes realize is that your Cricut does have limitations. So this file that I'm looking at here, it's almost to the max that we can cut it on a 12 by 12 mat. So on a 12 by 12 mat, you can cut up to 11.5 inches by 11.5 inches in Design Space. That's the size your file can be. So we're nearly there. If we wanted to, really maximize it, we could, but ultimately we're there. I'm just going to leave it at that scale. But if you do want to adjust the scale, you can come to any one of these corners here, click, hold, and drag, and scale up or down. Now, the reason I'm talking about the scale here, aside from the practicality of knowing how to scale, is that with intricate designs, you don't want to scale super small. So every now and then I'll get a lovely new crafter in my community and they'll be like, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the file, but I'm trying to cut it and it just keeps tearing. It just keeps tearing. I always ask them, what's the size of your file? And sometimes they'll be trying to make a file like this wouldn't make sense small, but let's say it's another design and they're trying to make the file at like 2 or 3 inches with intricate cuts like this. That's never gonna work. Like, it's too tiny, because if we look at the tiniest piece in this design here, like probably one of these here, right? Super tiny, like less than half an inch, not even that, probably like 1/4 of an inch. Now imagine reducing this entire thing down to like 3 or 4 inches. It's so tiny, it's gonna be like your blade's trying to like scratch the surface of it, basically. So always consider the scale of your intricate projects. That's the first thing to do for success when you're just setting your files up in Design Space. Consider the scale, okay? Obviously, the more intricate, the more things going on, you want it to be bigger. If there's not quite as much detail, but there's still some detail, you are gonna have more wiggle room. Any questions I need to address there?
Colleen is asking, do you think you could resize it to fit on a 7 by 7 or 8 by 8 card?
That's a great question. Oh, this would make a beautiful card.
Yeah.
I love that idea, first and foremost. I want to try it. I don't know for sure because I haven't tested this particular design, so I can't give you a definitive answer. However, if you're thinking it might be around, you said a 7 or 8 inch card, so this would be slightly smaller than that, I would assume, so probably like 6.5 inches maybe. So this here is about 11.5, so it'd be about half this size. Here's what I would do. The most intricate layer of this is the top one, right? So if you have some scrap like cardstock that's like not your favorite color, or just kind of like a piece of a cardstock that you're just laying around forever, put it on your mat, get this intricate top piece here, and do a test cut. So something that you're not gonna be like, oh, I wish I hadn't used that material. Do a test cut at that size. And then let us know what happens. If you're in our Facebook group, come and post and let us know what happens, or send us a message. I might test it myself just for fun, because now you're saying it and I'm curious how it would work. I don't see any reason why that size couldn't potentially work. It's probably the smallest I would go. But yes, I think there's potential there. And now that gives me ideas for future designs. So that's a great question. Is there any other question?
Can this project be done on the Joy?
So the project can be done on the Joy Extra. I would say that the original Joy, again, you're welcome to test this, but because the original Joy maxes out at 4.5 inches if you're cutting without a mat, I'd say this is probably going to be a little bit too intricate for that. If you have the Joy Extra, it goes up to 8.5, so you probably could get away with that. Again, I haven't tested that sizing. Miss Ella, are you ready to join? You want to come say hi to everybody? Thank you for tiptoeing. Watch the cord, watch the cord. There you go. Okay, some of you already know my daughter, Ella, Christabella, Ella for short. She's going to craft with us today in just a few minutes. I told her to give mommy a few minutes to do an intro, and then she could come up, because she only wants to do the crafting part. She doesn't care about all the extra steps. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, I know. I'm not done yet. I just wanted to introduce her in. All right, so mommy's almost done sharing my screen with them, okay? Give me like 2 minutes. I know you're excited. All right, so set your scale. So for me personally, I would put this at the max, especially since this is, aside from Colleen's amazing idea of a card, is meant to be kind of like a wreath, so something larger that would hang up on like a wall or a door. I would probably leave it at its bigger size. If you do want to play around with different colors to see like maybe these aren't the colors you want to use, maybe you have a different cardstock in hand, then I recommend just ungrouping the file. So right click and ungroup. And then you can click on these things individually, these pieces, these layers individually. And you can come up here at the top menu where it's like next to the operation and the color swatch tool. If you click advanced, you can put any color of the rainbow in there you want and play around with the different colors that you might want it. Even if you just want it arranged in different colors, you can get a visual for that here. So that's how you would kind of change and play with that. You can see the word hello there is changing as I move this around. So that's just how you would do that there. Now, make sure you save your project. Super important. Design Space is now prompting people to save projects before they go to the cut screen, which I think is a feature that should have come out a long time ago. So I'm really happy they've added that. So many times I just go to cut something out and then something with the cut doesn't work out, or my power, I have like one of those really sensitive houses where if you plug too many things in, it flips the breaker and then my machine stops working. And I didn't save my progress, and so the scale's all off and I have to start from the beginning. So I love that feature. I'm going to be using a Maker 3 here, but Maker 3, Explore 2, Explore 3, Joy Extra probably can work. You're welcome to test it if you have an original Joy. Just know that it may or may not cut perfectly with the size of this. But you can make paper crafts with your original Joy. You can check out the Craft Vault members at abbykirstencollections.com for more paper crafts that will work with the Joy. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Make It option here. And actually, yeah, I'm going to Make It option. Make It button. Just says Make, but I always say Make It button. You're going to cut on the mat, of course, because we're using cardstock. We'll click Confirm. Okay, and then here are all the different colors we'll want. One tip that I like to give people when you're working with layered paper crafts is you really want to take the time to pick out your colors before you start cutting. So like in my early days, I would just be like, oh, red, let me find something that looks red. Let me find this shade of red. But I actually take the time to really prep my colors first. So you can do that here on the mat, but as you can see, actually, I think I changed that color. As you can see here, this one, no, that's brown. Okay, this is a different version than when I uploaded. Hang on. Let's go back here for a minute because I want to show you the color sync tool here. I changed it in the file, but you can actually sync colors that are similar. So for me, like these two reds are so similar to each other, I would probably just use the same color red, unless I didn't have it and I had two slightly different shades or I like that look. But you can drag these colors together so that you can consolidate, which I like. Same thing with the yellows. Those are almost identical, but I think I made that mistake when I altered it. So that was me. So now we've kind of pared down the colors. I like to use the color sync tool on the screen here to see the colors visually. And of course you can use the little arrows to reveal what the cut is you're looking at. Because when you go to the cut screen, it's going to separate everything out by color, but it's also going to separate everything out by how much each mat can hold, right? So given that like our base pieces take up one whole mat, it's actually separating out the same colors on the separate mats because there's not enough room to cut it all on one mat. So I always like to choose all of my colors by looking here in the color sync tool, and I'll go into my cardstock stash and I will pick out all the colors I want. I'll have them stacked, ready to go. And I just like that organization process. So if that helps anybody out there, that's my process of how I like prep before I go to cut something like this. So back to our cut screen. So we're going to cut this out. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to make you sit here while I cut out all these mats. I did get prepped in advance. So I'm just going to show you my tips as I go for cutting with accuracy and avoiding ripping. But I already have everything prepped here so we can actually move along at a more normal pace and you're not waiting for all of the mats to get cut out. So let's go ahead. I'm going to hit continue here. And it's going to connect to my Cricut Maker 3 machine that I have behind me here. I'm connected via Bluetooth, but you can use the USB cable to plug into your computer. And we'll select our device. And I'm going to try and choose one. Well, let's see. I'll probably choose the most intricate one as example's sake. But like I said, I already have a copy cut. That way you don't have to wait forever. Let me take a quick breath before I continue here. Was there any questions jumping out that I needed to address?
Favorite weight of cardstock?
Good question. Okay, so let's go over supplies then. Let's just go over the detailed supplies. I was actually going to do that in just a second, but let's go over that real quick, and then I'll talk about my setting, because that's obviously a very good question. So favorite weight of cardstock, 65 to 80 pounds. 65 pound is my absolute favorite. That's 176 grams, I believe. Grams per square meter. Per square meter. I don't know. I probably got that wrong. But it'll say 65 pound up to 80 pound. 12 by 12 cardstock shop, my favorite. They are actually speaking at the Gift Fest event. If you do not have your ticket yet, grab it. They're speaking at the event. They're one of our sponsors as well. I don't work with or recommend people things that I don't use. So if I recommend a brand, it means I'm using it. I don't recommend it because I get an affiliate link or anything like that. Only legit what's in my own craft room. So love their brand. They've got lots of different types of cardstock. The Encore cardstock, that's what I'm featuring here today. My absolute favorite for paper crafts. It cuts so well on the Cricut. It just plays very nicely with the Cricut. It has it's hard to see, so you won't be able to see it on camera, but it's a very subtle texture to it, and that really just looks very beautiful in like real life to your eye. So absolutely love 65 pound Encore cardstock. I also love that all of their sheets on there are 12 by 12, so I can really maximize like my cutting space. You know, if you're stuck with like 8.5 by 11 cardstock, then it's like, you know, you're losing out on that extra width, which I don't really like. So love their cardstock. And then of course, pick out whatever colors are your favorite. They have so many colors on there. I just like did a shopping spree last week on there because I was running low on oranges and yellows, and I wanted they have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 colors of just yellow. Like yellow and oranges are one of the harder colors of cardstock to find in various shades, and they have so many. So I was super excited. Little tangent there. Any other questions?
There's 2 questions. Are they reasonably priced?
They are. They're comparable to like Michael's craft stores, you know, like their loose cardstock areas. So I believe 12 by 12 is like 79 cents a sheet on some of them. And then they have packs. So if you buy the packs of 25, it decreases the cost. But compared to even like some of the quality that I get from craft stores for those loose sheets of like cardstock, I think their quality is way better. I've had way less issues with tearing and stuff like that. So that's one of the tips that I would give people when it comes to paper craft projects. What is the quality of your paper? Not all cardstock, not even all 65 pound weighted cardstock is created equally. Like this, there's a recollection sheet I have in there that was black, and it just tore up when I made this one. It is just a wreck. And I've experienced that several times with the black color in particular. And with their brand, didn't have any issues. So I do think it's a quality investment as well.
And somebody asked, is it solid core?
Yes, 100% solid core. If they have any that aren't solid core in there, they mark it, but I haven't come across any that I've used for my paper craft projects with them that isn't solid core. And I don't like using anything that isn't solid core because all the obvious reasons. You don't want to see the white in the middle and all of that. Did you put up the link on the screen?
I did, the whole time you were talking.
I'm sorry, I couldn't see what I'm saying. I'm sharing my screen right now. Okay, so you've been so patient. Thank you. Let's talk about the setting, okay, for our cardstock. So because of the intricate nature of this, I would not recommend the traditional medium cardstock setting, which you can see here under my bookmarks, okay? I would recommend the cardstock for intricate cut setting. So if that's not visible to you here, you just need to click on Browse All Materials and then type in cardstock for intricate cuts. Or just cardstock, and then you'll find it, cardstock for intricate cuts. And this setting goes over, does 2 passes, goes over the cardstock twice so that it's not putting as much pressure each time, and it's not going to rip, or it will stand less chance of ripping depending again on other factors. So that's the setting I use for this. So that's what I recommend, cardstock for intricate cuts. Favorite setting for working with intricate designs. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and I'm gonna cut this one here, and it's the topmost layer, so it's the most intricate. And you can click this remember material settings option here if you don't want to have to select the material each time, which I find very handy. And I'm going to go ahead and load this up. So let me show you the next thing here. I'll help you. Hang on just a minute. I'll let you do it all. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. Okay, there we go. Let me get my mat and we'll talk about the next step here. I'm going to bring you guys down here so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Hello. Okay, so let's talk about the next step for a successful intricate paper craft, your mat. Now my mat here is fairly well worn. I've cut 3 of these wreaths out now on this mat right here. But as you can see, my mat is fairly clean. There's not a lot of like debris. There's maybe a few minor pieces here. No chunky debris. It's been cleaned fairly well, or all the pieces have been scraped off really well. Baby wipes can be helpful to keep on hand to just do a quick wipe down. Just let it fully dry before you put your paper on it, okay? You can also just use like dish soap and warm water and then pat them dry and then let them fully air dry to wash your mat. Fresh sticky mats will always be the best, okay? And with fresh sticky mats, you can also use like the light grip mat. This is a standard grip one. You can also use the light grip. But I find with the 12x12 Encore paper, I don't have issues even with a fresh sticky mat with the green one, which I know some of you have experienced. Like if you use the green mat and it's fresh with cardstock, it'll like rip and then it'll leave like sort of a residue over it. I haven't experienced that with their cardstock. Personally, I just think that speaks to the quality. And that's just been my experience. But if your mat is super well worn, if it's super bumpy, like in the middle, that's going to be an uneven cutting surface. If there's a lot of debris on it, if it's not sticking very well and the paper is shifting because it's not able to stick very well, all of that is going to affect the results of your intricate cut, okay? All that will affect it. So mat, very important. Now, if you do have a slightly worn mat, but it's still in good condition like mine, which is probably the majority of us, you do want to use what's called a brayer tool. If you have one on hand, put it in here so you can see it. There you go. So the brayer tool is your best friend for paper crafts because it's really going to help push the material to the mat so that it's a nice smooth contact. It's not lifting in certain places and it's going to cause tearing, right? So Miss Ella, would you like to line this up and then use the brayer tool? Stay right there so they can see what you're doing, okay? Very good. So professional and careful.
So while she's doing that,
yeah.
Somebody is asking where's the color sync tool is again.
Oh, sure.
And when you're using a 65-pound cardstock, what setting do you use for design space, and do you add extra pressure?
Okay. Okay, so I sort of answered those a little bit earlier, but I'll go back and just refresh here in just a second. Let's just get this rolled up. So you can see here how she keeps rolling back and forth. She's rolling back and forth with that brayer tool. She's applying pressure, so definitely put a little bit of elbow grease into it. She's getting that paper completely smoothed onto the mat. And this just really helps, especially if the mat has some, has been well used, well loved. So I find that very, very helpful. To answer the person's question, the color sync tool, let me just show this real quick, just to answer your question. Sorry, 1 second. Takes a minute to share. So color sync tool is back here in design space. Again, right over here at the top of the layers panel, you'll toggle over to color sync. That's where color sync is. So you can find all that there, and then you can drag these into each other. Okay. And then, as I mentioned a minute ago, we're using the cardstock for intricate cut setting. Even if it's a 65-pound weighted cardstock, that's what we're using because of the intricate cutouts that we see here. So I'm going to reconnect real quick. Cardstock for intricate cuts. Click on the Browse All Materials, which will pop up here in just a minute. And that's the one you want to use for this type of project. Or anytime you're experiencing a lot of tearing with your cardstock, even if it's not overly intricate, you definitely want to do cardstock for intricate cuts. And just click Browse All to find it, okay? All right, as to answering your more pressure, I do not use more pressure in this case, especially because of the intricate nature of this. If you have a more well-worn blade and you think it could benefit from some more pressure, by all means, do a test cut, play around with that if you feel that's necessary. In my case here, I do not see that being necessary. So let me stop sharing and bring you guys back up top here. Hello. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and load our mat. before you load it, baby girl, I just want to talk to them about the blade real quick, so don't do anything yet. Your blade is the next piece of the puzzle for a perfect paper craft project. If your blade is well worn, okay, you've got to change it. If it has been like, I don't even know the last time I changed my blade, you need to change your blade. I know, because mommy changes them all the time. To change a blade, you push this button at the top, okay? So you just open the clamp B in your machine and you push the button at the top to release the blade out, okay? Be very careful when you do that. It is sharp, even if it's duller, it's still very sharp. So replacing this blade is super important. You do not have to get the super expensive blades to make this work. There are packs on Amazon, packs of 10 that are not even by the Cricut brand, and they work very well. I don't know if I have any. Oh, I do. They look like this. So just go look for like multi-packs of Cricut replacement blades. You'll find them. They're very affordable, and you get them in like a multi-pack like this so you can swap them out. But definitely be mindful of your blade, okay? Also just check that it's clean. Even if you're like, I know it's relatively new, but there's somehow debris caught up around it, that's gonna cause a problem, okay? So blade is definitely key to your success. So I'm gonna put this back into clamp B here, and we'll go ahead and load this up. Miss Ella, would you like to load? Thank you for being so patient. Mommy's awfully worried today, aren't they? So she's just, I know you guys can't see this part, she's just lining it up under the guides here. Little white guides. Press that double arrow flashing button to receive the mat. Very good. Okay. It's going to just scan the length of the mat, make sure we have the right mat loaded, align the mat, all that good stuff. So that's what it's doing there. And as soon as it's done aligning the mat, we'll see the flashing play icon, or it might be a Cricut C icon, depending on your model. And you press that to proceed with the cut. And it's going to go ahead and cut this out. Now I'm actually cutting this out in red, even though it's supposed to be cut out in brown. So for those of you who are already observing that, yes, I'm doing that incorrectly, but that's because I already have it prepped over here. So I'm going to cut it out in a different color just for fun. Okay, so this is going to cut. Now, intricate projects, especially ones like this that are a little bit larger, they take some time to cut. This is the most intricate piece. Let me show you what it looks like. This is what we're cutting right now. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot going on there. And because we're using cardstock for intricate cuts, it's going over this twice. So everywhere the blade is dragging and running right now to cut, it's doing it at a slightly lighter pressure, and then it's going to go over the whole thing a second time, a second pass, to complete the cut. So this is the longest piece here. We'll see, we'll time it. It started less than a minute ago, so it's like 1:02. I think it took about between 12 and 14 minutes, if I remember correctly. So that's why I prepped in advance, because this would take like probably 4 hours if we were explaining it. Well, not 4 hours, probably more like 2. I think I cut all these pieces in about 2 hours, but I had something else to work on in between. So have something else to work on while you're just like letting it cut in the background. That's my advice to you. It's not a hard project. It's just the Cricut has to do the heavy lifting with the cutting. Any questions before I continue?
Nope.
Okay, I hope that means you guys are having fun and it all makes sense. All right, let me get this out here. So this is where we're going in just a minute here. So while this is cutting, let's talk about supplies for adhesives, okay? And we'll talk about hanging this, because I know someone's going to ask that question. So we have all these layers here that I have cut out already, okay? And there's a couple different options for your adhesives. I love using Barely Art craft glue. So it's actually like the word bear with an L-Y at the end, Barely Art craft glue. That is my favorite for paper crafts. I switched over to this probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I literally don't use anything else but this because I love it so much. Dries clear, very strong grip. It has precision tip, which is perfect for these types of paper crafts. Love it. So make sure you check them out, okay? They are my recommended source. They are also speaking at the Gift Fest experience. They have an adorable project. What is it? It's the little house, cottage house. Yeah, the cottage box. It's a cottage box house. It's a paper craft. It's so cute. So if you don't have your ticket, go grab it because you're going to want to get that template. Second thing you can use for this is their cubbies. So these are like foam tape, and it gives height and elevation in between the layers of your design. So like looking at my Halloween one here, You can see some of them poking through there on the side, and that adds height and elevation, which I love. It's great for shadow box stuff too. So love the cubbies. They make them in different heights. So this is like the smallest one, which for this project works best, but they do make, where are the other ones? They do make thicker ones. If you want a lot more height, you can kind of see the thickness difference there. And they also make strips, which are good when you have very skinny areas that you have to work in. And the strips are still very thick. So that's the height on the strip, but that's like how thin they are. So they are my favorite. That's what I keep in my craft room for adhesives. Very, very good product in my opinion. So love them. How's that one? All right. So this is still busy cutting. It's probably only about, probably about a quarter of the way through the first pass. So let's work on talking about some of the assembly. I'll bring you guys down here in just a second as this is cutting out. Okay, I think we went over, let me just double check that I went over fresh sticky mat and brayer tool. Don't scale your design too small. New blade, not overly worn out, no debris cut up around it. Reliable paper source. If you live in a humid environment too, keeping your paper in like a scrapbooking container that's like a plastic container that you can close, that's good too to help keep like extra moisture out and stuff like that. I live in Florida, so it's humid 364 days, and the other day we have 1 day of nice cool temperature. So just double checking I got all that out. Okay, Miss Ella, are you still wanting to help me?
Yeah, I was just waiting on
Okay, thank you for being so patient. I appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna bring you down here, and we're gonna start showing you sort of the assembly process, even though that's still cutting out, because I don't want to just make you like, we can sit here and chat, but considering I have to hold the entire conversation, it might get boring really quickly. So I'm gonna bring you down here. All right, yay. Okay, so I got my Daily Art craft glue, I got my cubbies. Now, what you wanna think about for a layered design like this is where do you want the cubbies to go? Because cubbies do not necessarily need to go in between all layers. These foam tape cubbies, I wouldn't put them in between all layers. Typically, my rule here is the most intricate layers, which would be these two, I glue these together, okay? I don't want extra space now. If for some reason you do, that's fine. And every design might be different depending on what you're working with, if you're just following this as like an example for working with projects like this. But as you can see here with this set of two that I have stacked, the only part that's really different between it is the green that's poking through on the vine area. And I don't really want to add height there because there's not a lot of area to add these cubbies, and it just creates almost too much shadow and makes it look a little dark and almost hard to tell what you're looking at. So choose your layers wisely with the cubbies. I have chosen these bottom layers to be my the ones with the cubbies. So this one here will have cubbies in between it. Kind of put some in there to start to test if I liked it. And that's something else you can do. So I already put a few here just to sort of see. I didn't take the backs off of them yet, so they're not sticky yet. On the one side anyways. But I wanted to get a feel for, do I like the space that that's creating, or do I not like it? And do I want it more flush? And if you don't want to use the cubbies at all, or you don't have them, whatever, you can just stick with glue. That's fine too. Like it's not a requirement. So let's start with, always check your layers first. Make sure you have everything the right direction is lined up. I can't tell you how many times I've like started sticking things on and I haven't lined them up, and I'm like, oh darn, I put that on the wrong side and now I have to peel it off and hope it doesn't show. So always check. All right, so I got those checked. Let me pull that off real quick. So I have some cubbies here already stuck on, but we need to add more. So Miss Ella, can you spread out your cubbies? Don't put them too close together. We always want to make sure that there is, enough space to support. And actually, yeah, sorry, I was having a moment. I was like, wait, is that the wrong layer? I have a little like dyslexia in my brain. Like, wait, did I do that right? No. Very good. Okay, so let's see. Maybe we could put another one right there. I feel like there could be another one right there. That's fine. It's okay. Maybe another one right there. What do you think? Yeah. Do you see any other spots that could use some support? Maybe here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we could probably. Really, you don't have to go crazy with these. You really don't. Some people prefer to have like a lot more support in areas. Like if we wanted to, we could put cubbies like out here. I don't really go that crazy with it. I'll be honest with you. I tend to just kind of like stick, kind of even-ish, and that's about it. So that's what I typically do. But if it makes you feel better to have more, you can. I also like maximizing my supplies. So I kind of use them sparingly. And you can see we kind of just scattered them. And they have little paper backs on them here. So you got to peel those off. If you have fingernails, this is pretty easy to do. But you can use a weeding tool as well to help pick them off. You can. Yes, you can. Sometimes I find it easier just to use my finger, but for demonstration purposes, you can use a weeding tool to take the backs off. Yeah. And sometimes that can be a little easier. So depending on how that feels for you, that's a little extra hack for you there. You got it, baby?
Yeah.
You get all these off? I think so. Oh, one right here. There we go. Any questions?
So the layers are not numbered. How do you know which one comes first?
Oh, good question. So you follow the layers on your screen. So if you look in Design Space, then you would know the stacking order. So hang on, before I do this, let me answer this person's question by showing them real quick, okay? That's a good question. I get that all the time. Let's share my screen to show you what I would do. Okay, so I'm going to reopen a new window of Design Space here. That's cutting. Go over to my stuff, and there we go. Okay, so to answer your question, you can follow the stacking order on your screen. So if you ungroup the file, mine is currently ungrouped already, but if it wasn't ungrouped yet, it would look like this. And then you could right click and hit ungroup. And then you could just sort of pull the layers slightly apart from each other, like this. Ella says, oh, that makes sense. I hope that means it makes sense to other people too. So I'm gonna pull these over. Okay, so see how that works? You can literally just pull those over and you can see in what order you need to go. And also, try to be careful with your colors that they match. I can clearly see what my yellows and my oranges are, but if I had like changed these colors but not changed the represented color on my screen, it could get confusing. So try to make sure that you've already used this color swatch tool up here to change the represented color for what color paper you're opting to use. So I hope that makes sense and answers your question. This is how I do all my paper craft projects. Just look on your screen at the stacked layers. You can also look in the layers panel. And so over here, we have anything that's at the bottom, that's the bottommost layer. The next one is orange. The next one is the deep red, the green, the brown, and then our top layers here. They are in the stackable order naturally. So whichever looks easier to your eye to identify, that's exactly how I do that. So let me know if that makes sense to you and if that helps. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's get back to this. So now this layer goes on top of this layer. So I'm gonna put this back down and I've lost the direction here. So let me double check that's the right way. Okay, so we have all the sticky on the back here. So now we're just going to line this up. Now, this part just takes a little bit getting used to. You kind of just hover your head over here. You're probably gonna see my head in a minute.
It's your necklace, not head.
My necklace, my head. I look at the top first, and then I kind of start to let it fall into place. These cubbies are somewhat forgiving, so if you do need to lift, it's not the end of the world. You might need to just place another one down if it loses its stickiness. And we can see that fell into place nicely there. And then give it a bit of a press. Okay. All right, cool. Any other questions? Make sure I always have to tell myself pause to answer questions. Okay, so we have this layer next. So this is the red layer next, which is what was represented on our screen. So let me make sure I did this right. I'm getting vibes that I didn't. Okay, I did good. Okay, so I already have a few cubbies on here, but Miss Ella spread out some other ones on there for me. Thank you. As you can tell, our machine is still cutting. Again, the one I loaded was the longest cut of them all. These cuts here take like, I don't know, probably 10% of the time this one's going to take. So they're not all that long. I will say that. Maybe stick one right there for me. Oh, I'm sorry. You have them right there. I didn't see it was plugged into the table from the angle I was at. Very nice. Maybe put like one right there. Okay, how about one right there? All right, that's good. Let's see what happens with that. Crafting doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if you make mistakes.
Imagine hand cutting this.
Imagine hand cutting this. I am sure there are people out there who could do that. In fact, I know there are. You have my utmost respect.
Without it.
Yeah. I don't know how you do that with any level of patience, but oh my goodness. That takes artistic to a new level. All right. We could probably add a few more if we really wanted to, but honestly, it does just fine as is. So let's bring this over here, flip it over. Mommy's gonna do the layering part, okay, baby? I know you want to. We'll work up to it. I know. How about this? I'll let you layer the Hello Fall one. This piece right here, I'll let you layer that. That way it's a little smaller and easier for you to handle. Yeah, you can help me add the glue in just a minute if you want. All right, there we go. So like, I feel like this paper has enough stiffness to it that like these pieces here, we didn't add any cubbies behind them. And it's holding just fine, but if for whatever reason you want to add some cubbies in between these little edge pieces here, you could, and that would support it that much more. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, let's get going. All right. That sounded funny. All right, so we have these top two most intricate layers here. So I am going to add cubbies to the green eventually underneath. I started that there, but I want to glue these two together. I really don't want to add cubbies in between these layers because they are so intricate. There's not a lot of space to put the cubbies. And I like having one layer, especially at the top, that is nice and flush together like that, okay? To make that green kind of stand out a bit more, which I know is kind of hard to see with like the color on the camera. You can see it there. So I've made sure that's aligned. I'm going to flip this over. And Miss Ella, you can go ahead and just dot some of this glue and I'll help you. So she's using the Barely Art Craft glue. In the bigger areas like this, Miss Ella, in the bigger areas, you can be a little more generous by going back and forth like that. But then in the smaller areas where we need to make, you know, more detail and be careful, we can use like this finite tip to sort of dot the glue. This glue does dry clear, so even if you get some of it out of the area, which I do all the time, it's not going to show up and be like obvious in the end. Okay, how you doing? How about one right there? And don't forget your edges. Always put a few dots around stuff on the edges. It's easy to do. We're double timing it over here. Yep. And they do make tips that are wider than this. So if you need a stronger flow to your glue, they provide that as well when you purchase. This is just the mini version, but they have big ones as well. Very big ones. Yeah, very big ones. They also offer refills, which is nice. So that's like a discount you can get to just refill your existing bottles. And it's less cost to just do a refill. Okay, so we were very generous there overall. And we're going to go ahead and add it to this one.
You have cubbies on that one.
I know, but it's going to go face down that way. So we're going to flip this.
That's going to be tricky.
Yeah, it takes a bit. If you don't get it perfectly aligned with the glue, it's okay. Just sort of into place. You can see I got some glue on the outside there, right here, which is fine because I'm just going to rub it in and it's going to disappear. Press it all together. Yay. Make it a little on your hands, but it kind of comes off pretty easily. But this glue is remarkably strong. I have actually used this glue to hold plastic to paper. That's how strong the glue is. I hear the machine has stopped. Oh, the machine has stopped.
What time is it? It's 19.
So it started at like
1:06.
1:02. So that was like 17 minutes. Yeah, that's the longest one, guys. They're not all that long, not even close. Like I said, these ones here were probably like 3 to 5 minutes, and depending on it. So let me show them how to take it off the mat, baby. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So Ella just took the excess paper off just a second ago. But when you're removing your intricate designs from your mat, especially if it's a newer mat, you always want to flip it over. Okay, so don't try and lift. That's not going to work. Flip it over and gently curl. Do not crease your mat. If you start to crease your mat surface will get bumpy. As a result, when you go to put your next layer of paper on or another intricate cut, it may not cut evenly and it may tear. It's a balancing act, guys. So, gentle roll or curl. Think about that you're taking the mat away from the paper, not that you're taking the paper away from the mat. So think about it in that flow in your brain. And this mat has been fairly well used, so it's going to release a little bit easier than, say, a super new mat, super sticky new mat. So you can see here the curl is happening to my mat, but not as much my paper because I'm focusing on curling this away from the paper and not the project away from the mat. And if you go like one direction like this, it can also be helpful to flip and go the other direction and meet in the middle, because sometimes we have things that are going to catch at the wrong angle and they'll rip apart, like the center of an E or an A or something like that. Just happened to me one too many times. Any questions?
Oh, you got them all under control.
No. Good. I hope that means you're having fun.
Tons.
I wasn't asking you, I was asking them.
I'm having fun though.
I mean, you can have fun,
Yeah.
but I'm more concerned with them having fun.
That sounds like they're having fun.
Good. All right. So then we have all these little annoying pieces, right? So you have two options for this. You can scrape off onto your floor like I do and have a sweeping party later. That's what I like to
I
do.
hate sweeping.
Yeah. Well, yesterday I did so much of this that I had it on my shirt and in my shoes. And when I went to take a shower, I now have scraps of paper in my bathroom. Does that ever happen to anybody else? So if you're like Ella, she'll scrape it over the trash can, which is probably the smart thing to do. You're not going to scrape it over the trash can?
No.
Oh, you're going to make it. You said you didn't like sweeping.
Who said I was the one who's going to sweep?
Oh, sassy. She's going to be 10 in less than 2 weeks. Apparently the sass has set in. Yeah, that's not good for your mat, baby. You don't want to scrape. So here, let's show them the right way to do it, okay? You don't want to ever dig into your mat. You want to just remove it. But could you please do that over the trash can so that I can keep teaching them? Thank you. Yeah, I know. Fake crying. I know. How much you want to make a mess. I know. We already got enough on the floor as it is.
I don't see a trash.
It's right there. I moved it. I got to keep you on your toes. All right. So this was this brown piece here a minute ago. We cut it in red this time, you know, just because. But that's how that looked. You see that turned out pretty well. Okay. Those are all my tips and tricks for getting clean cuts. Okay. That's when I was scraping things off. So we've got to add this layer on here. And I am going to do cubbies on this one. Okay. So I've started that here. You can do that later if you want to come back and help me add the cubbies.
Okay. Unless you have it.
Yeah, well, it's a little loud on the mic, so let's just do this for now. We'll clean it off later. All right, thank you.
So someone's asking if you use shimmer paper with white core, would you still use the same intricate cut setting?
Shimmer paper with white core. Well, without knowing the exact weight of it or even testing it myself, I honestly couldn't give you a absolute answer to that. Which they're asking about the setting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say anytime you're doing intricate cuts for any type of cardstock that varies between 65 and 80 pounds, you're going to want to experiment with that intricate cut first. That's going to be your best bet first. I recommend test cuts. So if you've never tried it before, you don't have to do this whole design, but maybe grab a couple of free shapes from the shapes panel in Design Space, put them on your canvas, grab a piece of like maybe scrap if you have something scrap that's similar to that you'd use in another project, and then do a test cut on it. That's going to be the most absolute way to answer your question perfectly. But if I'm offering generalized advice, I would say stick with the cardstock for intricate cuts, because that's going to be your best bet in probably 95% of cases for this type of project. That's just been my experience over the years with it. I think that's good. What do you think? Beep. Beep. Okay. Let's take all the little backs off.
I'm lazy today.
Okay. Well, don't do that.
Yeah.
Let's just use our fingers. You got to get it at the right angle, baby. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's harder than I thought.
Yeah. It depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I use the weeding tool. Other times I'm like, I'll just look at it. They come off pretty easy, so that's good. I mean, it's not like super difficult or anything. Oh my gosh, I run out of things to say. This is the quiet part of the lives. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I am going to be doing a live next weekend as well. So I hope you will join me. It's actually going to be our live for the kickoff for the Gift Fest event that's coming up. Again, if you haven't gotten your ticket, make sure you grab that. I don't want you guys to miss it. Checking the sticky. Yep. But I'm going to have you guys vote in a few minutes on what you want to see in the next live. I have 2 project options.
Good.
You can vote too, Ella. He gets a chance to vote.
Oh wait, there's more. 1, 2, and 3 right here.
Okay.
What happens if you don't take all the stickies out?
Well, then it wouldn't stick very evenly.
Here's another one.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we
And
double
another
checked.
one.
Well, that's good. That's why we double checked. There we go. All right, let's get all that off add it to our sweeping file.
Wait, one more check.
Okay, it's good, baby. Thank you. All right, Ella, let me have it. Thank you. All right, so now we got this layer. We'll go ahead and add this on. Almost. You're gonna help me with the Hello Fall part.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Do we need cubbies for this one?
Nope, for this one, I'll explain why in a minute, why we're just gonna be using the glue. All right, that's pretty good. And don't get super paranoid about getting everything perfectly aligned. Like mine, if you look really close, mine isn't even perfectly aligned. Okay, there's some variation. Crafting and creativity does not mean perfection, guys. In fact, it means the opposite. Embrace your mistakes, okay, and have fun along the way. All right, so we've got the majority of that done there. We just got to add on the phrase. Look how pretty that is. So excited. Okay, so here is this part. And this is in 3 layers. Now, for those of you who are probably going to ask, you might say, well, I want to add some cubbies to add height here. You absolutely can. But let me show you something. I experimented when I was running a test of this with doing cubbies here. You can kind of see there's height. And you're getting a pretty strong light from my overhead light right now. But when I was photographing this and looking at it in person, there's some pretty harsh shadows that actually show up in the letter area. And as a result, it becomes hard to read. So even at a distance and stuff, it's hard to read the lettering, which is why when I completed my first test cut, I went back and made this part separate from the rest of the design. So you could add the height here, but you didn't have to add any height here. You could just use glue, which is what we're gonna do here. So we still have pretty colors, but you'll be able to read it a lot easier, okay? So set this aside for a moment.
Ella, you're getting lots of good helper comments.
Oh, good helper comments, that's good. You're a good helper. All right, so we've checked our layers, made sure they're the right direction. So Ella, put just a little bit of glue around here. You can be generous here and the little dots around the more detailed areas. I'll do this one. Actually, no, I won't because I'll make sure it's aligned first. Very good job. So what do you want to be when you grow up?
You?
Aw. You still want to be a crafter?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Mommy didn't mean to be a crafter. I don't know what I wanted to be. Actually, I just wanted to be a mommy, and then I found out that I needed something else beyond that. For those of you who know my story, this business just started. That's a lot of glue, baby. This business just started accidentally. I know that sounds cliche, but it really did. And
Give it to someone
now
else.
we're a complete family-owned business, and my husband works with me full time, and Obviously, Miss Ella does too. So we got a lot of generous glue going on here. Yeah, you work with me too. You're training. You're training to be my successor if you want to be. You don't have to be. All right, so I'm gonna line this up. We got some extra glue that seeped out there, so be careful on how much glue you add. You can see here with our mistake, little too much glue sort of seeped out. That's okay, it'll dry clear, so it's not gonna be super obvious. Yeah.
Mom, how about I work at Michael's and you get your paper from Michael's and then I give you a discount and then you don't have to.
Oh, you're gonna go work at a craft store so I can get a discount?
You still have it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's an idea. I do most of my shopping offline though, Ella, so unless you can find a way to like buy Amazon, I don't think you're gonna help me.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, what it would be like, what we'd have to do in order to buy Amazon. Not. Okay. So we're gonna add this layer here. So what did we learn from this first layer?
No more glue.
Not too much glue. Very good. We learned from our mistake. Okay. So let's work on just dotting the glue a little more this time, okay? Okay, but they want to see it. There you go. Believe it or not, they tuned in not to watch the white desk, but to watch the project. All right, good job. Is there any questions I need to answer? No? Okay.
No.
Okay, we'll go. We're almost done here, and then we'll talk about next week's live, and you guys will get to vote, and then I'll do the joy giveaway as well. I think you're good, baby. All right, so that one was a lot less glue, heavy on the glue, more dotting, light dotting. That's good. Almost. Okay.
Are we gonna have to stick it onto that?
Mm-hmm. So I think we're gonna use cubbies to stick this part on. So you can still elevate this by adding cubbies like to this part, and then this whole thing sticks up. But then that way you can read the words. They're very legible. They're not covered by like shadows. So it works pretty well. Okay. Oh yeah, that's fine. You can do that die. Normally, what you want to do is always put the cubbies on the thing that you're placing down, so that if there's cutouts, you don't actually put the cubby in a place where it's going to poke through and see. But in this instant, we can clearly see where this is going to cover, so it's not a big deal. I think that's good, baby. Or maybe one right there if you want. Stick one up there. All right, let's take them off. I think we're okay. It doesn't need a lot of support. And the Barely Art brand that I buy these cubbies from, they have ones that I haven't tried them yet. I'm going to buy them actually because I have some shadow box projects I need to work on. But they have a shadow cubby that's black. So instead of seeing like the white poking through, they're black and it kind of hides within the shadows, which is really cool. So you want to stick them on? All right, so you're going to have to get it lined up. Very good. Look at the bottom too. There you go. It's okay. I shake too. Very nice. Very good job. Yay. You want to keep it? Well, let's
You have to.
I know. Let's hang on until we're actually done with the live though before we run off with it. All right. So there we go. Here, let's bring it back up top here.
Wait. How is that one fatter but that one's skinny?
So we'll go over that in just a minute. So this was my test cut. This was the first one I did, my test cut. And because of, like, you can sort of see it now when I'm holding up, there's a more shadow going on in here. And it's harder to read. And when I added more cubbies in between these layers, it made it even more difficult to read because of the way this was attached to it. But when I went back and redesigned the file, I made it to where this is flush here, but now you can add cubbies within all these layers. And so it makes it a little bit thicker. And I think it turned out really good. And then don't forget, we have our Happy Halloween one for our premium members. You'll grab that too. Remember, just for those of you who are tuning in now, this one is free until tomorrow, 9:15. Yeah, free until tomorrow at 9:15, September 15th. So make sure you visit the link in the description and go download it before it goes back just for our members, or just become a member for $9 and you can get access to both of them and all the other projects. Are you leaving me?
Do you not have any more crafting?
Oh, if I don't have any more crafting, you're gone. Okay, I got you.
I want to pick out
The winner. Yeah, you want to pick the winner for the giveaway. So give me just a second and we'll do the giveaway in just a second, okay?
I'll be sitting.
So what do you guys think of this project? Are you going to make it? I really want to see yours. Like, seriously, the best part of my job is seeing your projects. So if you make this, even if it's like you don't get to it for a couple weeks, please go to our Facebook group. It's Cricut Crafters or Cricut I'm going to name my Facebook group. Crafters and Cricut Lovers by Abbi Kirsten. If you're not a part of it yet, you can join. Or just send us an email, okay? hello@abbikirstencollections.com. If you're not on social media, just send us an email. I really want to see your projects. I love celebrating when you make something and you get to embrace your creative play and the joy that it brings you. And I hope this project brings you some joy. So let's talk about let's talk about hanging this, because I know someone's probably going to ask that if they haven't already. I would recommend, it's so lightweight paper. So just a little double-sided like foam tape or a command strip right here and pressed onto the door or the wall or wherever you want to hang it would probably be super, super easy to do, like super easy. If you want to get more fancy and you're somewhat comfortable in Design Space, you could actually go into Design Space before you cut the file, and this back layer here, this bottommost layer, you could grab a circle from the Shapes panel and make a little hole, put the circle over this, and then slice it out using the slice tool or the subtract tool under the combine functions, and it'll slice a little hole out to where if you wanted to thread a ribbon on the bottommost layer, you could, and then hang it up. I didn't do that in this file because it's so easy to do in Design Space if you just want to like subtract out a circle, and so I left that up to each creator to decide for themselves. But I would honestly just use like a command strip or double-sided tape and just put on your door and your wall, and I think it would look really great. Okay, sorry, it's the first time I've taken a break to look at the comments. My husband's over here monitoring. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, on fire, I guess. Okay. And if y'all haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, would you please do that for me if you haven't yet? I know it's easy to tune in and forget to subscribe. We are like this close to 100,000 subscribers, which would be awesome to get soon. I would like to get there by the end of the year. We're only a few hundred away. Or share this video with a friend so that they can subscribe as well. Okay, so let me double check where we're at here in our process. I talked about the hanging. Okay, so I think we're on to the giveaway part now, right? Anything else you think I've forgotten? Okay, I don't think so. Whew. Okay, so giveaway. Okay, for those of you who have done giveaways with me before, I usually keep it very simple. Very simple. So I want to know what you want to see in next week's live. So next week's live is going to be our kickoff for the Gift Fest experience. Make sure you grab your ticket, abbikirstenscraftfest.com, free ticket there. And we are going to be doing a kickoff party, but I will also be doing a craft in that live. So I want you to vote for which craft you want to do. I'm going to show you just a second the two options you have. And if you leave your vote in the comments, I'm just going to randomly pick somebody to win a Cricut Joy Extra. Okay? So let me grab my options here for you guys. You can see. So in the spirit of it being a gift-centered event, gifts that are made with your Cricut machine, gifts that are even made without your Cricut machine, wrapping and bow making and all that stuff, I have, who else has spare ribbon laying around? Like, do you just have like pretty ribbons that you just bought and you just have like a bunch of spare ribbon lying around? I have 2 bins in there. I always swear I'll use them for something, but aside from some photo props, I literally use them for almost nothing. But I wanted to do something with it. So I thought, why not try making some curly bows with the ribbons? So if you want to learn how to turn your spare ribbons into curly bows really easily for your gift packages, holidays are coming up, so this is a good time to do it. Vote that you would like this option. The second option is if you are not yet familiar with a print then cut process with your Cricut machine or writing with your Cricut machine with a pen, then I have these super cute Handmade with Love gift tags. It is a print then cut project. And then I also would show how to write with your Cricut. Wow, the light is so bright. I'm like trying to make sure it's not glaring too much. It's really hard. My light is zipping it. Right here, this is pen. So I had my Cricut write my name for me because I don't like my handwriting. So it wrote my name for me, and then we did this print and cut process, and then the Cricut wrote and cut around the design. So what will it be? Handmade text or curly bows? Ella, what will it be? You got to vote. Which one do you want? You want to show them how to make curly bows next week, or the Handmade with Love print and cut gift tags with writing with your Cricut? Okay, she's voting writing with your Cricut. I would totally vote curly bows because I just think these are like fun. They just make me happy. But it's about you guys, so I'm losing my voice. Hang on. Voice is almost gone. Okay. So I'm going to look in the comments in just a minute and we'll pick someone to win the Cricut Joy Extra, whichever ones we see the most vote for. Even if you're watching this like later today or tomorrow, still vote because I'm going to just pick the most popular one by tomorrow. Give it like full 24 hours for people to watch and vote. And let's see. So what do you see the most of? I'm curious.
Gift tags.
Gift tag. See, didn't I call it? I always have this thing where it's like, I want to do one thing in my head. And I'm like, this is going to be the more popular one. I just know it. But I'm thinking that because it's like what I want to do. And then I'm like, nope, I know it's going to be this. It's going to be this. I really want to make both. Maybe I can find a way to do both in the live. I don't think I can. It would be too much. But whichever one we don't do, I will make a video for, like if it ends up being the tags and not the bows. I'll make another video for it and I'll drop it as like a live premiere to where you guys can be live with me in the comments asking questions or something like that. That sounds good. So it's not really a one or the other. It's just what do you want to see next week? So what are we seeing? I see lots of curly bows too. Both, of course, both. Gift tags, yeah. Okay, so I think the gift tags might be the winner, but we'll give it a little time to settle in, okay? So we're going to randomly pick somebody to win the Cricut Joy Extra based on those who are commenting right now. Miss Ella, would you like to help Daddy pick? She's gonna help Daddy, her Daddy pick. He's moderating. So we're just going to just make sure you scroll and scrub the comments and don't just pick the most recent one I scrubbed through to give everyone a chance. I have so many ribbons lying around. These are so fun. They're really easy to make. So you just use like a stiffener and yeah, so fun. I'm going to still make a video on these, but I get the appeal of these two because they're so practical and learning the process of print and cut along with how to have your Cricut right. Super important skills. And you can do so much with it. So just pick a random name, baby. Just scrub through and then randomly pick. They're being very careful in their choices. They want to make sure they're being fair. Sandy D, is that who we picked? Okay, we've randomly chosen. Miss Ella has chosen Sandy D. You are the winner of the Cricut Joy Extra. New in the box. I'll ship this out to you. So to get your prize, please send us an email with your information at hello@abbykirstencollections.com. When you get a second, babe, can you put that email up there?
Putting it in the chat and I'll put it up there.
Okay, that's fine. So hello@abbykirstencollections.com and we'll get this up to you. Now, if you tune in next week for our other live, which still deliberating, but sounds like it might end up being the gift tags. We'll be showing that, so make sure you join us and mark your calendar. It'll be 12:30 again, same time. And I also will be doing more giveaways then. So this is the live for the Gift Fest Experience kickoff. And so I usually do a physical prize giveaway, but I also usually do like a bunch of VIP passes. So for those who aren't able to watch the week of the event or want more time to view all 50 gift making workshops, there's a VIP pass that you can upgrade to. And I usually give a bunch of those away during the live. So come hang out with us next Saturday as well. Make a project. If it ends up being this one, the template will be free for that as well. And then you'll have a chance to win more stuff too. So much fun. And remember, if you guys make these, please share. I really want to see yours. So much fun. So much fun. Okay. Alrighty. I think this was really fun today. What do you guys think? So much fun. Thank you guys for joining me. I really love spending time with you all. So much fun. Thank you, hubby, for moderating. I really appreciate it. We appreciate your guys' support. Even if you can't spend a dime on anything that we offer as a product, just sharing and liking or subscribing to our channel supports our family business. So I really appreciate you just showing up today. That means a lot to our family. If you have more questions and I missed something, we'll try and go back to the chat. If you are watching this replay, you can still leave your questions in the comments and we'll check it and we'll answer them for you. I hope to see you guys next week. This was a lot of fun. Did I miss anything, babe? Am I forgetting something? Is there any major questions popping up that I'm like completely oblivious to? It's hard to moderate and talk at the same time. So I always rely on someone else to tell me what's going on.
Nope, you're-
All right. Okay. So this was so much fun. I will see you guys next week, hopefully. Have a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.